Join us as we search Alaska and beyond for mysterious creatures, featuring Beans Baxter and Rob Roy Menzies. This is the Alaska Bigfoot Studies. Hey guys, welcome to the Alaska Bigfoot Studies. Well, I am very excited. In just 5 days, I will be camping with Beans Baxter doing a Bigfoot expedition roughly 30 miles from Port Chatham in Alaska, which many of you know is a Bigfoot hotspot. I'll do another video on that place, but I wanted to talk about the dangers of doing Bigfoot expeditions in Alaska and really anywhere in the wilderness. Last year we had that unfortunate tragedy where two Bigfoot explorers, part of this community, died and succumbed to the elements because they were not prepared, I believe. I don't know the full story. They haven't released much on it, but they did perish because of the elements. That's what the report was. And in Alaska, that is a very real threat. Now, one reason why I don't, sometimes on some of these expeditions, I have to be honest, I'm not giving my 100%, because if I was giving my 100%, I would be very stealthily, not use any lights, not make any noises. I'd just be, quietly going through the woods trying to come upon something. Now, the problem with that is we are in bear country. There's black bears, brown bears, and grizzly bears in the areas we go. And if you do that, you have a higher chance of startling a large bear. And if it's a grizzly bear or brown bear, you don't want to do that. They're going to attack you at close range if you startle them. So it is very terrifying. So I have been known to, blast some spotlights and, okay, check the area out before I start investigating. So this time I'm not going to do that because I'm actually doing a combo trip where we are going to be actually hunting game that is not a cryptid, and at the same time going around and doing these Bigfoot exploration activities. So it is a little bit scarier, and you have to be prepared if you're going to do that kind of thing. Now, there's a few factors that make Alaska in particular so dangerous for Bigfoot exploration. The first thing is the wilderness. Just the land alone can swallow you up, and no one will ever hear from you again, just because the land is so rugged. From mountains that will completely disorient you. I've had GPS in my hand and walking in circles because it's nothing but fog on the mountain ridges, and it just disorients you. You can slowly find your way back, but that's after backpedaling many times. It's very confusing, and just the elements, if you're tired, hungry, dehydrated, that will disorient you even more. There are certain areas with just jagged peaks and rocks where you can easily slip and fall. There's crevasses in the wintertime, and there's even crevasses in the summertime too in some areas. Like when I was in Southeast, you had to really check where you were stepping, because you could step on what just looks like foliage and you'll just fall down a 20-foot rock crevasse, just because the foliage is so thick and everything is so steep that you don't know what's under it many times unless you're very careful. There's also areas that are full of marshland, very hard to get around. We've got mud flats that act as quicksand that people have gotten trapped in and perished. The tide will come up and trap you on beaches, and the ocean, of course, is very dangerous. If you're flying, the air currents can be very dangerous. We lose planes and boats every year up here. It's just an inhospitable, dangerous land. And the number one thing to do to survive in that case is to just come prepared. I have layers. I don't like to wear cotton. I wear polyester, wool, things like that will keep you warm even if they get wet, and then rainproofing. So you got to have down is good, wool, layers, and then something to keep you dry. If you stay wet, you're going to get hypothermia. A way to make a fire, food, water. You have to filter your water. There's just a basic survival things that if you do not bring on an expedition that is way out away from civilization, you are not going to survive, or you're going to have to get called in. Now today we cheat a little bit because both Beans and I have those in-reach satellite communication devices. So if we do have an emergency, either one of us will be able to contact someone to get help. So that is kind of nice. And nowadays, you pretty much need that. There's a lot of people that have gone out on expeditions and hunts that if they would have had something like that, it could have saved their life, because you're cut off many times. Most of the time when you're way out there, there's no internet, there's no phone signal, and so you got to have some way to communicate. Now, the other obvious danger is wildlife. We have bears, wolves. A moose will stomp you down many times. There's wolverines out there. There are a lot of animals that can hurt you, maim you, and kill you. The biggest one on top of that is the bears, brown bears, especially way out in the middle of nowhere. They have less contact with people. They're not going to be as skittish, and they may look at you as a meal. So firearms, obviously, bear spray at the very least, but many times that's not going to do it. That's not going to be enough. You need to have a firearm if you're going to protect yourself, your party, your family. You need to be able to defend yourself from very large game. So obviously 10mm on up, 44 Magnum's a good choice. 12 gauge shotgun's probably one of the best things with slugs. 45-70, any hunting rifle is going to be great. So you need to protect yourself when you're out in the wilderness. The other thing is just people. And believe it or not, there's some just crazy long-haired, bearded guys that they move to Alaska just to get away from civilization. They are the most paranoid whack jobs you will ever meet in your life, and they're just living out there in some cabin that's not even theirs. And when you come upon them, they may freak out on you. And I've heard tons of stories. I've seen people like that. Unfortunately, you know, that's what rural places kind of attract, is people that want to get away from civilization. Many times they're paranoid and not mentally stable. So you need to have weapons to defend yourself from somebody like that. And finally, there's the unknown, there's the cryptids. Not only is there Bigfoot, I would say that you have a higher chance of being lost by the little people, which is the biggest cryptid in Alaska. There are these little people. Just about every tribe has stories of them. And if you hear like little voices laughing and stuff, be very aware of them. Don't follow them. Don't disrespect them, because they'll just make you get lost and never come back. You're going to a time warp. There's all kinds of stories like that of a kid that was taken away by the little people. And then he comes back 50 years later, and his parents are extremely old, and he's still the same age. It was like a weird time warp in this mountain near Shungak, Alaska. Very fascinating from the oral tradition. Stories like that. And then, of course, what I've always said is Bigfoot in some parts of Alaska is not a benevolent creature. It is not just going to try to scare you with a rock or banging a stick on, a log against a tree. It may kill you and possibly eat you, according to some of the stories we have. Notably, Port Chatham, that was not a very nice creature. That could definitely kill somebody, and supposedly did. But pretty dangerous. And then when you have the fact that, the idea that some of this might be some kind of interdimensional creature, then I would suggest to you that you become spiritually balanced and you have artifacts with you of faith that can protect you. So that, in a nutshell, is what I have to say about that. I am very excited, so we're heading out in just a few days. I'll have some more videos for you guys really soon. Thanks for tuning in. It's Chuke, your friend in the field.